In this video, we'll talk about optional method orElse, orElseGet, and orElseThrow. So let's create a new class, and the class name is optional orElseThrow example. And let's create a public static void main method. Inside our public static void main method, the first case we'll be looking into is orElse. So what optional.orElse is? Optional.orElse is if the option contains a value, then it's a value. Otherwise, whatever you provide in the else, that's the value. So let's create our integer of array and numbers is equal to new integer array of 10. And let's create a numbers of 0 is equal to 1. So in this case, number of 0 has a value. Now let's have an optional of integer and number is equal to optional dot of nullable, then numbers of, because this can contain nullable, so that's why is of nullable, and 0. So in this case, it is containing a value. So integer result is equal to number dot orElse minus 1. So if has a value, then it is the number, otherwise return minus 1. And now let's print it out and run this. So you can see that it printed out the value of 1 because number 0 has a value of 1. Now let's change this to numbers of 1 because number of 1 is null. And let's run this program again. So you can see that the result is minus 1 and it's executing number dot orElse minus 1. And also look at the definition of orElse. Click Control and it will become a hyperlink which you can click on and you can see the definition of orElse. If a value is present, return the value, otherwise return other, whichever provided inside the orElse clause. Now let's look at the example of orElseGet. The only difference between orElse and orElseGet is that get takes a supplier. So in this case, number dot orElse, or what we can do is at first assign it, result is equal to number dot orElse get, and you can see that it takes a supplier. And also look at the definition here, that it takes a supplier. If a value is present, return the value, otherwise return the result produced by the supplying function. So in this case, what we'll be doing is we'll be creating our own supplier. And if you look at the definition of supplier, it does not take any argument and just return a value. So this is a valid supplier. So there is no argument and it returns a value of minus 1. So in this case, number orElse minus 1. Now let's make this to 0 and print out result again, and then you can just make it result orElseGet. Now let's run this. So you can see that result is equal to 1 and result.orElseGet is equal to 1. And now change this to 1. And orElseGet is also minus 1 and result is minus 1. So here the only difference between orElse and orElseGet is that it takes a supplier and you can use a supplier in orElseGet. Now let's look into orElseThrow. So as the name suggests, it will throw an exception. So in this case, result is equal to number dot orElseThrow, and here we'll be throwing exception. That's a general exception. Now it is complaining about unhandled exception type. So let's add surround with try and catch, and then print out the value of result and put the method name orElseThrow. So orElseThrow is beneficial when, for example, if the result contain a value, otherwise you don't want to assign a default value like -1 or anything, and just want to throw the exception back to the caller and tell it that okay, there is no value exists. So in those kind of scenarios, orElse is beneficial. And also look at the definition of orElse. If a value is present, return the value, otherwise throws an exception produced by the exception supplier function. Now let's run this program. So here you can see that it throws the exception java.language.exception, and if you change numbers to 0 because 0 contain value, then it will return as 1. So it returns result is equal to 1, result orElseGet 1, and result orElseThrow is equal to 1.